You are looking live here in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, here at DNA HQ. On today's episode, we have...
Let's break down the University of Utah's football schedule for the 26-27 season.
Should the Utah Jazz target Austin Reaves this offseason?
And let's break down the final games of the World Baseball Classic.
All that and more. My name's Darren, that is AJ, and this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to another exciting episode of the DNA Sports Recap. My name is Darren. That is AJ. Thank you very much for joining us. How's it going, my friend?
Doing great, buddy. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Another pre-show cheers.
Absolutely.
Cheers to you.
Boom. Cheers to you guys.
Lots to talk about today. We have Greg Hawkins, channel legend Greg Hawkins, jumping in the chat already. Love to see it. It says, how about that WBC final? Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's coming.
That's coming for sure. As a reminder, folks, if you're watching this on our live stream, please feel free to jump into the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. AJ wants to know your favorite color, as long as it's red.
If it's not, I don't care.
Pretty much.
Go Utes.
And again, folks, if you are watching this on our live stream, this is available after the show. It's also available as a podcast where you get your audio, as well as if you are listening to this on the audio podcast. We do this live stream every Wednesday evening, 7:30 Mountain Time. So be sure to check us out. Come hang out.
Yep.
All that good stuff. All right. You want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your University of Utah football. As a reminder, folks, we did just launch a channel specifically for your University of Utah football called Utah Football DNA. All of our Utah football content will be posted here on this channel. So if you're listening to this on our live stream, watching on our live stream, or listening on our podcast after, a link to Utah Football DNA will be in the description down below. So be sure to check it out in the description. Make sure you smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there. Slap us some engagement. And yeah, consider subscribing if you're here for your Utes.
Absolutely. Go Utes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Was this the right one?
That's the right one.
Okay. Sorry, you mentioned the other one, so I just want to make sure I was doing the right one there. All right, so we got another comment here from friend of the channel here. We got McKinley Cutler saying, what's up with the Jazz? Really going into full tank mode. Might not even pass up the Kings. Yeah, it's a great conversation. We're actually going to talk about that game as well. So everybody all on the same page here for our content this week.
Absolutely.
Love it, guys.
Great work,
Love
guys. Way to study your notes before you jumped in.
Yeah, those are college transition
Very much
questions.
appreciated, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and first jump into it, man. What we wanted to talk about today when it comes to the Utes was we wanted to kind of break down the schedule, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see here. What we're going to do here is start with game one, right?
Yep.
Which is, let's see, this could be the first game, which is going to be against Idaho.
Yep.
Okay. So again, folks, let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below, what your feedback is regarding our picks on this. Let us know if you think we're wrong, if you think we're right. Either way, we're still going to have a good time in the comments. So join us, chat with us, let us know what we're talking about, all right?
Yeah, do it.
All right, so week one, we have Idaho, right? So this could be the University of Idaho. This is simple. This is
This is a straight up warm up game, my friend.
yeah, this is get some reps in type of game.
Yep.
What I see from this one is this is try some stuff that you would normally not use and get your depth in there as early as possible.
Yep.
Clearly, there's a talent gap here. Idaho has signed some entertaining players, specifically running back Ferrari Williams. He's 5'10", 220 pounds. He had 1,100 rushing yards last year, which is
Also awesome name.
yes, very awesome name. But yeah, other than that, that's really kind of the only player I see coming out of Idaho that'd be kind of fun to watch. Other than this, again, we're just going to see what the Utes are going to throw out there. Again, get the depth out there and try and see if we can get some game speed reps for these guys.
So you're going to say that's going to be a Utah win?
Yeah, it's a pretty simple Utah win on this one.
Okay, cool. Next game is going to be Utah versus Arkansas. This game's September 12th at Rice Eccles Stadium, so home game. This game reminds me a lot of the UCLA game from last year. You're playing against a power conference school who's kind of in the bottom end of their conference, and actually they are in the very bottom end of their conference. They were 2-10 last year and were 0-8 in conference play in the SEC. So Arkansas really struggled last year. But it's going to tell a lot about how the season's going to go, right? It is a Power 4 school with players from the SEC who have SEC recruiting. But, I mean, to summarize this game's at Rice Eccles. The home crowd's going to be there first. You know what I mean? To bring in a Power 4 opponent into Rice Eccles, it's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. I'm going to predict a Utah win.
Yeah, it's going to be like the first real game. I mean, no offense to Idaho, University of Idaho. No offense. But yeah, I agree with you on that one. That's going to be a fun atmosphere for sure. So week 3, we have Utah State's coming into town.
Yeah.
Again, another home game. This is kind of a repeat there. A lot of my games are home games, by the way.
I know, and a lot of mine are away.
So this one's going to be an interesting game, not just simply because of the play on the field, but it's going to be interesting. Utah's clearly going to win this one against Utah State. But what I'm actually really excited about is how all the fun connections that they have with the University of Utah. Obviously, you have the new OC, Kevin McGivern, as Utah was with Utah State last year. They also brought over 4-star wide receiver Brendan Pagan, who led Utah State last year with 60 receptions and 926 yards, including 5 touchdowns. Utah State's going through a significant roster overhaul right now. But I do think that they have some good additions to that team. Seth Wilfred from Auburn is a big one. You also have Chewy Wade from OK State. Those two will solidify the offensive line. Fun game for sure, but Utes will take this one. I just think it would be a fun one to watch just simply because it's going to be a lot of Utah State's influence on Utah. So it's just going to be kind of fun to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. And there'll be some fun banter in that one because Utah State fans always show up. That the opposing fan section in the Utah State game is always full. So to have them there, it'll be loud on, that southwest corner of the field. It'll be a fun one, but I wouldn't expect anything other than a Utah win. So I believe we have a bye week in week 4, right?
It's week 5.
Week 5. Okay. So next game, September 26th at Jack Trice Stadium. So Utah is on the road at Iowa State. This is going to be a tough home test for the new head coach, Jimmy Rogers. He was the head coach at Washington State last year. He left after just 1 year with the program. And then he took the Iowa State job because Matt Campbell left. And when Matt Campbell left, he took pretty much the whole roster with him to Penn State. So when you take that many talented guys that you've done a really good job recruiting and kind of made that Iowa State program what it was over the last few years, you're looking at a rebuilding year. Jimmy Rogers is a great head coach. He won an FCS national championship with South Dakota State. So the guy knows how to win football games. I do believe he's going to be overmatched in this one. Utah's going to show up with 3 games where they've got the offense rolling, and I do believe they come out of Jack Trice Stadium with a win on September 26th.
Nice. I like it. Week 6, we have, again, this is coming after the bye week. So week 5, the Utes have a bye week. Going into week 6, again, a home game, and this one's going to be versus Kansas. This one's going to be a little bit closer for me. KU does have a bit of a quarterback battle going on right now. It's assumed that Cole Ballard would be expected to take over for Jalen Daniels after his departure, but you also have Chase Jenkins and Isaiah Marshall to contest there in spring and fall camp, so we'll see what happens there. On the offensive side, we got wide receiver Cam Pickett and transfer Nick McMillan as key contributors on the offensive side. They also have defensive lineman Drayden Punt that's new to the squad there, is a player worth note on the defensive side. I still got Utah winning this one just simply because these teams are in similar positions as far as like quality of program wise, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The issue that I'm running, and again, simply because of the transition period, is I would normally pick Utah way over Kansas. But again, with all the transition we talked about last week with this team, I think that kind of levels the playing field a lot. However, again, this one's going to be at Rice Eccles, so I'm going to say, that's going to make the difference, and Utah's going to come away with a win against Kansas.
Yeah, I think so. the Rice Cycles is home field advantage for sure. It's loud and it's rowdy, and the fans have the ability to affect opposing offenses.
Yeah, and we have an established head coach that's been here for 20 years. Our offensive coordinator is from Utah State. He's relatively local to the program. And I don't know, the defense. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of change on this team, absolutely, but a lot of it is Utah centric. A lot of it is going to be people that are already with the program. We have our QB number one. This team doesn't, at least not yet.
Yeah,
and so that kind of leaves a lot. Plus the home field advantage. I'm leaning Utah on that one.
Yeah. So the next week is October 17th, and Utah is at Colorado at Folsom Field. I think the big thing to remember with Colorado is they had some short-lived days of this flashy Colorado team that could, and I'm air quoting here if you're listening on the podcast, play with anybody. And those days are really gone. Colorado looked pretty bad last year. And even after getting Caden Salter from the transfer portal, that was their big-time recruit that they got from Liberty, who was supposed to just come in and, not miss a beat on the offense after they lost Shedeur Sanders to the draft. They just struggled to move the ball. The defense played horribly. It was really bad. So they've got another quarterback battle. They've got 5-star quarterback Julian Lewis, who is – it's not Lewis. I don't think his name's Julian Lewis.
Don't worry, we'll fix it on the screen.
Yeah. And then he's going to be competing with Utah transfer Isaac Wilson at Colorado. So – those guys were battling for the starting spot, and Wilson is already showing promise. He's actually getting pretty high praise from the coaching staff already, which is really cool to see. So Colorado always plucks a few really good guys out of the transfer portal. Every single year they have a few spots where it's like, this guy's going to be the difference maker. I don't know if they're going to be consistent enough throughout the season to take Utah, even at home. I'm going to take Utah on a win on this one as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, no arguments there. Again, it's clear, no, I just, that one's pretty much a clear shut one on me there for me, for sure. I'm with you there. There was that first year where they came out the gates hot and everybody bought into the hype, and then it just really fizzled out.
Well, and then Oregon absolutely bus rolled them on national TV.
Never
on
helps.
That season. And I mean, it was, it's been downhill since Oregon just ran them over, and they're all the talk about how good Colorado is. And I mean, it's Oregon, right? Like, if you don't show up, they're going to truck you. And that was exactly what happened.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. And then we have week 8 versus Houston. Again, another home game here. Houston is still rebuilding. They do have quarterback Connor Wayman. He is returning for his final year of eligibility. That should provide some stability on the offense. If Utah gets out to an if Utah gets out early, we might see the 5-star recruit for them, which is Keyshawn Henderson. Hope I'm saying that first name right. Keyshawn Henderson in the second half, which would be really, really cool to see from Houston. He was a 5-star recruit, so that would be really awesome to see him out there. Defensively, they have Carlos Allen Jr., who plays, a little bit stand out for me. I think he's going to be a player worth watching for sure. But again, still rebuilding versus Utah's more reload approach versus rebuilding. So I'm going to take this one. Utes win this one at home.
Nice. I agree. I think that program has some work to do. Houston, they're kind of up and coming. They spent a ton of money in the transfer portal. We just talked about it in our top 5 rankings. Make sure you guys check that video out if you haven't already seen it. They spent a lot of money. They could be at the top end. I don't see them as fresh as they are coming into Rice-Eccles Stadium and taking that game.
No, I agree. I did have them ranked in my video last week ahead of Utah. I believe I did, didn't I?
Yeah, I think you did.
I think I did.
Yeah.
But I don't see them beating them head-to-head, just simply because, again, here at home, Utah's more established.
Tough place to play.
I just think Utah's going to take that one.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so the next week is October 31st at Nippert Stadium, which is at Cincinnati. Cincinnati hit the transfer portal hard. They had 22 recruits, including J.C. Fresh and the redshirt senior who is the redshirt senior quarterback, and Liam O'Brien. Doesn't that name sound familiar?
It does.
Spicy tuna.
It does.
But Liam O'Brien is actually a senior from Penn, which is an Ivy League school. He's also a quarterback.
Interesting.
So Cincinnati started last year on fire, right? They looked good. And I mean, realistically, everyone was thinking this team's going to be playing for a Big 12 conference championship this year. That starting quarterback who took them all that direction ended up, transferring to Texas Tech. So they're going to be forced to kind of rebuild some offense. I'm really curious to see how Cincinnati looks after such a strong beginning to the season. It'll be interesting to see how they turn out. I'm going to take Utah on this one in a close game. Actually, I'm not saying they blow these guys out, but I think Utah wins this one in a close one on the road at Cincinnati.
Okay, I love it. I actually agree with you on that one too. By the way,
yeah,
I don't think Cincinnati beats them, even though it's a road game. Week 10. So this is one everybody wants to talk about. Week 10 versus BYU. For me, it's the most important game on the schedule for the University of Utah.
Yeah, and for where we're at, we just had a comment that the Utes need to go undefeated. McKinley commented that the Utes need to go undefeated before the BYU game for an 8-8 or 8-0 Holy War. I agree. I agree. Awesome. This will be nationally televised. It'll be on everyone's TVs on every single channel. So yeah, absolutely, go into it.
Yeah. So again. This will be a statement win for Utah, but it's a must win for BYU.
Yes.
If they want to compete for a Big 12 championship or be in the college football playoff, they cannot lose to Utah in this game. BYU has Bear Buckheimer returning after
Did you just say Bear Buckheimer? It sounded like Buckheimer. It's Buckmeyer.
Did I say Buckheimer?
It sounded like Buckheimer.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Anyways,
Bear Buckmeyer.
Bachmeyer. Here we go. That was it sounded funny. It made me laugh.
Okay, Bear Buckmeyer. Wouldn't be the first time I said it wrong. So,
I've heard it both ways.
There you go. Love it. That's worth that. That's a mid show cheers.
Yeah,
right
absolutely.
There. All right. Okay, so those YouTube algorithm, that's apple juice. It's good stuff. So with BYU, they have Bear Buckmeyer returning after his breakout season last year. You expect him to have another leap forward. Not necessarily a leap, but he should still progress from last year. Backed with running back L.J. Martin, who is a top 100 player in the early rankings right now.
Mm-hmm.
I also like their tight end transfer they got from USC. Walker Lyons, he was a nice reload there. And you also have the O-line. You got Bruce Mitchell, who was all conference last year. Gentry is also expected to be, has experience at tackle as well. Looking forward to seeing what Kyler Casper is going to do on this team down south. He is, an Oregon transfer, 6'6" Oregon transfer. So there's a lot to be seen on the BYU side that I think is going to make this one interesting. Can't overstate the departure of Jay Hill on this one. I think Utah shakes off this 0-3 Holy War and gets a win this time.
I agree. We'll know 4 or 5 games in how Utah's going to look. I'm excited for the offensive pairing with Devin Dampier and the new offensive coordinator Kevin McGivern. I think it's going to be kind of a match made in heaven. I think they're going to have some stuff up their sleeve specifically for the BYU game that we will not see. I also agree that it will be a Utah win this year.
Yeah, just statistically, if you look over the time frame over this rivalry, unless there's a huge change, right, a huge swing, it's usually one side will get 3 wins in a row, or it's just a
massacre for 10 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm anticipating this is going to be a little bit more back and forth. I think these teams are a little bit more evenly matched than
they ever have been.
Yeah. So that's why I think this one could go. This one should go Utah's way, just simply because again, there's some changes there, and again, there's just as many changes on the Utah side. But again, we just reloaded with a lot of more Utah guys, so I think that kind of makes the difference there for us for sure. All right. So who do you got next?
Okay, so the next week coming up is Utah at Arizona at Casino del Sol Stadium. This game absolutely terrifies me. This is on the road against a really good Arizona team. You just played and won an emotional rivalry game against BYU, and the Utes are just feeling unstoppable at this point. but I could see some missteps on defense in this game. And with Noah Fafita out there, this dude's he's known for carving up Utah defenses. He finds holes, he runs, he does it all. Utah defenses do not play well against Noah Fafita because this dude is that good. This is going, in my opinion, this is going to be the first loss of Utah's season against Arizona. In a close one. I mean, I think could be decided by a field goal or less. But I'm going to say Utah versus Arizona after the rivalry week. We see our first loss from Utah.
All right. Yeah, that tracks. I think you're pretty spot on there. It'd be tough to see them. I mean, it's not impossible, but yeah, I think you're spot on that analysis there. Coming off of a high of a great win against the rival, and then going in against a better team, and immediately getting punched in the mouth a little bit.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely
and it's we've just seen this too many times, right? Where they go out there and they get behind 14-0 in the first quarter, and it's like now they're playing comeback the whole time. And I'm not saying Utah doesn't have it in it to win some comeback games, but
ended up losing 21-17.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I actually had it 24-27. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, I could see it being that close of a game and just not being able to make it a late turnover or something like that. So
Gotcha. All right, I got Week 12 versus TCU. This one's on the road, right?
I don't know. Yes, maybe.
I have it versus TCU, but I'm pretty sure this one's on the road. So I just think I'm on my notes. I have it wrong.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
that sounds right because their last game I think finishes out at Rice Eccles, so against West Virginia. Which
yeah.
Is my next
Okay.
one,
Yeah. So I just put it in my notes versus, but I think it's on the road. So correction there. But anyway, so there's always now. Here's my theory. I've been following the Utes a lot closer as we analyze the team than I did as a fan. Basically, just watching the games and just enjoying it and just checking it.
Yeah.
There's something I've noticed over the last couple of years is there's always going to be a loss on the road that I expect this team to win.
Yeah.
Happens every year.
Yeah.
Carter Stadium is always a tough place to play. The Horned Frogs, are a tough team to play at home. Jeremy Payne is going to be the highlight of that offense as he continues, as if he continues what he did in the second half of last year. You also have Ken Seal. He's projected Seals. Sorry, there's an S on there. He's projected to be the starting QB. I like the fact that he's going to be, and he also has some stability in the wide receiver room with Major Everhart. There's lots of experience on the defensive line with like Marcus Steele as well as Ansel Dean Maba. Hopefully, I'm saying that right.
Mabapi.
Mabapi.
I don't know. I just made it up.
There's no vowel at the end of there, so.
Oh.
Both me and ESPN got that one wrong, if that's the case. But like I said, this team always loses one on the road that I think they should win. And in my mind, this one could be that game. Now, you can easily take this and swap it with BYU. And if they lost the BYU game, I see them winning against the Horned Frogs.
Maybe their one loss is Arizona.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't think this team comes out only one loss, unfortunately. So, again, I'm just picking them. Again, they're just always that one, and it always comes at the end of the year. Where the defense is just kind of beaten up and stuff like that. Just kind of really ran through its paces because it spends way too much time on the field, at least over the last couple of seasons. Hopefully that changes this year. But yeah, I see that being a potential loss as, again, just statistically, as I've seen it the last several years, one of these always comes up.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. That's going to be a tough game at TCU. I think if they do lose the game at Arizona, their chances of winning at TCU are better.
Agreed.
Because this is not a 2-loss and 2-week team, especially coming into the end of the season where they know they got to win. And I'm not saying they don't potentially lose one of those earlier games, but I think if they do lose the Arizona game, I see them playing much stronger against TCU than if they win the Arizona game. But to finish the season, it is Utah versus West Virginia. That is at Rice Eccles Stadium. Nico Marquillo announced that he is transferring to Northwestern. He spent 4 seasons with the Mountaineers. But West Virginia got some good transfers. They got an Oklahoma transfer named Michael Hawkins Jr., and they also got a guy named Scotty Fox Jr. Rich Rodriguez he's finally getting his feet underneath him. They didn't have a great season last year, but he's not a guy you count out for too long. He's coached too much. He understands it. He's kind of getting his recruits in there and building the program that he wants to build. So this could be a really solid middle of the pack kind of team this year that could that could really just sneak up on anybody. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of team that West Virginia could be this year. But not Utah. Not in this situation. Not in late November where Utah knows that they're going to need every single win. I'm going to predict Utah in a landslide on this one.
Okay.
To finish the season out, and with our combined prediction, that puts them at a 10-2, 11-1 type team, and right in the mix for a Big 12 championship game.
Agreed. I do think this conference is stronger this year than it was previously.
Oh, it absolutely is.
And I do think the University of Utah has a better schedule than they've had as far as their time in the Big 12.
Absolutely. This is the most program friendly schedule that they've had in a couple of years.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Even go back to the Pac-12 days when, Oregon State.
Yeah, Oregon State, Washington, you're like, we can't get any break. Like I thought this was supposed to be split into divisions, and these guys, we got to get all the tough ones from the North Division.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting for sure. I agree with you there. I believe the line for Utah is 8.5. I think
in West Virginia.
No, for their
wins.
Yeah, overall, right now,
I would take the over.
Yeah, I think we're both on the over on that one. Not necessarily just because of home ridges, just simply because off of what we talked about, straight the schedule. I mean. Honestly, if they beat Arizona, there's no chance they're losing to TCU, and this could easily be a 10-1 team.
Yeah.
Did I do that right? 11-1 team.
Yeah.
Right. Our math is great. Utah math, guys. But again, the same thing could be the opposite. They could easily lose both games and lose a rivalry and be 8-3?
4.
8-4, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely can swing either way. But honestly, I still would take the above that line for sure. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below when it comes to the University of Utah. Again, as a reminder, folks, we did just launch a channel specifically for your University of Utah football called Utah Football DNA. This is a channel that we dedicated specifically to your Utah football club. So if you have not yet, smash that like button on this channel. Subscribe to it. Man, I just completely lost it all there. If you're watching this on our live stream, check out in the description down below. We have Utah Football DNA down there. Make sure you check out that channel if you're following us for our youth content. And if you're listening on the podcast, the link to that will be in the description down below as well.
Yep.
All right, man.
Do it. Subscribe, like, share, comment.
All that good stuff. Yeah. We'll be giving away some of his season tickets once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers.
Clear with my wife.
All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Utah Jazz, shall we?
Yep.
All right, man. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Again, folks, as a reminder, we did want to remind you about our channel specifically dedicated to the Utah Jazz called the Utah Jazz DNA. All of our Utah Jazz content will be posted here on this channel. So if you're watching this on our live stream or you're watching this or you're listening to this on our podcast, be sure to check out in the description for Utah Jazz DNA. A link to that channel will be in the description down below. So be sure to check that out. We'll be giving away a Jazz jersey once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers.
Notice it's centered this week.
Yes.
You're
nice
welcome.
Job. Nice job. You got to love it. We got a comment here from Greg Hawkins. Channel
It's
Legends.
weird because I can actually hear this. I can see the sarcasm in that comment, Greg.
Oh, for sure.
That's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. So we did have a few things we want to talk about when it comes to the Utah Jazz this week. So now, AJ, there was probably on Monday, we had probably one of the most pointless games in basketball history.
Yes. Two really bad teams.
Yes, we had
playing really bad players against each other.
Yes, the last team in the West is taking on the second to last team in the West.
Yeah.
But not all is lost, AJ. Not all is lost.
No, not at all.
We had something to watch in an embarrassment of two teams who were trying to lose a basketball game. We had Cody Williams, who scored a career high in Sacramento that night. He had 34 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block in 38 minutes of play. That's good for 12 for 17 from the field, 60%, and with a 3 from 7 from 3, which puts you at 43% from downtown. Still was a -8 on the plus minus. But that probably has something to do with the loss and the fact that he did have 3 turnovers in the game. Again, they did lose this game, so that's good. that kind of makes up for the loss.
Which is pretty incredible. They lost to the worst team in the NBA.
Right. So it kind of counteracts that Golden State game.
Yeah.
So
or the game they had no business winning.
Exactly. So this kind of counteracts that one. So appreciate that, guys. But yeah, what are your thoughts there on Cody Williams? This is the guy you picked for them to draft.
I did.
And
I called this one.
You did call this one, and you also, when I was kind of down on him last year for his lack of development, you're just like, let's take a beat, let's give him some minute. And I think you were kind of spot on that guy.
Yeah, I mean, Cody's been getting better every single game. It's been really nice to watch him just get better every single game while he's out there. But we just haven't seen that really over the top kind of improvement, like we keep expecting, right? Like we keep thinking this is going to be the season where Cody just gets over the top and he has kind of a Keontae George type leap. But Keontae George's leap happened in year 3. So maybe next season, maybe that's kind of the threshold. I mean, these are both 1 year in college guys where the game is much faster. The players are bigger, faster, stronger. I think my biggest concern is the minutes are going to be much harder for Cody to come by next season with some of the lineups that we're actually projecting right now. So, I mean, it's not that I don't think he deserves a spot with some of these reserve minutes, but the question I kind of keep asking is like, is he going to be a defensive player? Is he going to be an offensive player? Like, where is he going to earn his minutes out there? Because he hasn't shot the ball fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I really, I'm curious to know. So, and I want you guys to leave a comment, jump in the comments. Let us know. What do you think? Do you think he's going to be a defensive or an offensive player? The thing is his blocks, his steals, his defensive rebounds, those are all up, but his 3-point per shooting is down almost 2% from last year to this year. So he has taken a lot less threes, which is a good thing. But on the flip side, I mean, the good news is that his field goal percentage is about 15% higher, and he's taken 65 more shots than he took all of last season at this point in this season.
So that's a big change from the last time we talked about Cody
Shot
Williams.
selection is massive. Yeah.
That actually, last time we talked about Cody Williams was, we did a video on him a couple weeks ago, and his 3-point percentage was up from last year.
Right.
So that means he's had a couple bad weeks.
Had a couple bad weeks. But I think some of the problem is you have a good week where you shoot 5 for 7 from 3. All of a sudden you get a little hot-handed. You think, here we go. I found my stroke.
Right.
And then you go 1 for 10. And that'll kill your stats real fast. So he just needs to answer the question of, is he going to be a defensive player or an offensive player? Because that's what I keep asking myself. Where is he going to kind of grind out his spot in that lineup next week? I think if he doesn't take a leap on the defensive end of the floor, he's not going to see NBA time like he's hoping. I think he's always going to be able to get shots because he has great size. He has a knack for getting to the rim. He can score it from anywhere. But if you're a revolving door on defense, with the guys that Utah has next year in that lineup, with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen, and even Keontae George has been good, you're just going to stick out. You just don't have a chance. So that's kind of my thoughts on him.
Yeah, I think, that the stat line that kind of jumps out to me there is that there is 7 rebounds. More importantly, there's 7 assists on this as well.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, it is against Sacramento, the worst team in the National League, the Western Conference, right? So This is a really bad team. And they basically, if you watch the game, you pretty much was, a path to the basket whenever you wanted it. But you still see those 7 assists. You still see that elite play that he came out of the gates with. He had 20 in the first quarter.
Still keeping his head up, making the right passes. Yeah.
Not exactly 20. I think it was like 16, but you get my point. Might hear it in the comments. No,
close
it was actually,
enough. Yeah, every time.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm actually thinking he's going to get a similar conversation that Keontae George got. We talked about Bryce Sensabaugh may need that chat. I think this is something that Williams needs as well. It's like, look, if you're going to not be a lockdown corner 3-point shooter, you need to improve on defense. Yeah. And it needs to improve greatly. So expect to see that kind of same conversation. And when he comes into October of this year, we'll see what happens. He did put on the weight this year.
He looks much better.
Yeah, he put on the weight.
He looks like an NBA player now.
Yeah, and I agree 100% that he's putting the effort. So let's see if we see that on the defensive end. It would just really, you don't want to miss on this guy.
Yeah.
we've already had Taylor Hendricks that we didn't necessarily, not that he was a miss. Unfortunately, his time with Utah was barred by injury. Keontae George definitely turned it around, right? Isaiah Collier, he's doing exactly what we're expecting from him, right? But you don't want to have another miss in this tank,
right?
On the draft, in my opinion. So hopefully he gets,
especially not with a 10 pick. Yeah,
exactly. With a lottery pick, you definitely don't want to.
Yeah.
We got some comments here from McKinley Cutler there. It says here, I'm just happy that Cody is showing something. He looked like a total bust last year. Yeah, agreed. I think if he gets some more muscle and plays with good players, he could develop into a good 3 and mostly D. I like that.
I agree. And that's a great spot for him.
Yeah.
Especially at 6'8".
Yeah. His size is there.
Yeah.
And all the intangibles are there. We just need to see the effort. I also think that he's got good handle for a wing. Could see some valuable third and fourth options as the ball handler, as a distributor for the team. Yeah, you're definitely seeing that a lot from the game from that game on Monday. They basically were just passing it to him at the half court and letting him kind of go to town. You were seeing him kind of as that, Joe.
Like,
Ingles.
what do you look like as the primary option?
Yeah, well, he got the ball.
Yeah,
and then he was basically kind of like ISO, distribute, do what you got to do. There weren't necessarily plays that were ran for him. It was basically just handed it to him. Very much kind of like a Joe Ingles with a little bit more offensive approach, where he basically could be, like you said, that
Joe Ingles is just like three.
He would just run the ball and then run the offense and try and pass it. If no one moved, then he'd shoot a 3.
Yeah,
which is great. So if he could be a lockdown 3-point
I
shooter,
love
that'd
Joe
be
Ingles.
awesome. Yeah, slow-mo Joe for sure. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below when it comes to that. Cody Williams breakout night in an absolute garbage of a game. Thank goodness we lost. I still hear. I mean, do you still hear from people like, "Oh, I can't believe this team's losing"? Like, this is the home stretch, guys. I hope if there's a way for this team to basically just say, shut it down.
We just forfeit the rest of our games. We're not flying anywhere. We're taking an early off season,
and we still wouldn't even be the worst team in the NBA.
Yeah.
With like 15 games left, we still wouldn't be the worst.
Yeah.
So it's definitely in a position where you got to be all in on this, guys, because the run is coming to its end when it comes to this, and we just need to see it through, come out the other side better, and in October be ready to hit the ground running. But yeah,
totally agree.
That's kind of what we want to think on there. So
speaking of October, there's an off season between now and then.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So with all the talk about tanking and trying to look ahead at greener pastures, we wanted to start that conversation about who the Jets should be targeting this offseason. On March 10th, SI posted an article by Jared Koch. At least I think that's how you say it. Koch. I've heard it both ways.
I've legitimately heard that one both ways.
Utah Jazz emerge as a potential suitor for Lakers Austin Reaves. Now we all seen the jersey swaps, right? And so let me ask you this, AJ. What are your thoughts when it comes to Austin Reaves, and should Utah pursue him as a restricted free agent this offseason?
Yeah, so I mean, my thoughts on him as a player is the dude's a great player. He's unfortunately been in the shadow of the LA Lakers. Kind of, he's like this forgotten piece that the Lakers that really need to be successful. Obviously, you've had LeBron there since the 2020 season. They had Anthony Davis and traded him for Luka. But this guy's really solid. I mean, he shoots almost 37% from 3 for his career. He averages 4.4 assists and almost 4 rebounds. And that tells me that he's that everywhere guy that is kind of just willing to do whatever it takes to win basketball games. That is kind of what they're needing. But, I think about it, it's like, are we ready to sit Keontae? Do we play him next to Keontae? Reeves is 6'5", Keontae's 6'4". I mean, that's a nice size backcourt if you play them together. Then it kind of gives you a great change of pace if you got Isaiah Collier on the floor with one of them as a primary ball handler, because Reeves is more a 2 guard than a 1 guard anyway. But yes, you absolutely, if you have a chance to sign Austin Reaves, you go out and get him. You think Keontae, Reeves, Markkanen, Triple J, and Walker Kessler on the court at the same time? I mean, can you imagine? That is a solid defensive lineup. You got great size from the front court to the back court. And if you sign Austin Reaves, you immediately put the Jazz in the conversation of one of the top teams in the West next year, in my opinion.
I think that's a good opinion. I'll tell you one thing, AJ. I am glad. Before we get on to that, there is one, you said the forgotten player of the Lakers, right? I'll tell you one, that might be in the national aspect of it, but you know who hasn't forgotten about Austin Reaves? The Lakers. If anything, the Lakers are seeing Austin Reaves and Luka, and they're kind of forgetting about LeBron. Like they're kind of just done there, right?
Yeah.
They're done with that whole franchise being handcuffed to LeBron on whether or not he stays or goes, or what his decisions are, and clutch sports and all that. So yeah, there's definitely, and also don't forget that the ownership of the team now is the same ownership of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Right.
Lakers fans, if you're watching this, which I doubt you are, but if you are, this team is the worst it's going to be for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
The
With LeBron.
Right. It doesn't, LeBron or not, this team is not going to be ran like it has been for the last 10, 15 years. It is now under the same ownership as the Dodgers. The Dodgers will make this team into an incredible team.
Make the Lakers great again.
You said it, I didn't. It's a California team, so I don't know if that's really a thing. But they're even having, the front office for the Dodgers go and consult for the Lakers, and help with that team. So it's one of those things where you're going to have a situation where that team is going to get better, not worse, regardless of what happens with LeBron. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and again, I also want to kind of say I'm kind of glad that we're not in traditional media, AJ. You want to know why?
Because you can say all the things that they can't say.
Yes. And literally 2 days after this article was posted that we're talking about on SI.com, the same writer that posted that article also posted Utah Jazz Austin Reaves hopes may just have been shot down. Literally 2 days later. So let me just tell you this quote here from that we have from that same SI writer. The law set, and this is coming from inside information from. Let me just read this off here. The Los Angeles Lakers plan to offer Austin Reaves a 5-year, $240 million contract this offseason once he hits unrestricted free agency. This source is told Lakers Daily. That's the source. Reeves will decline his player option next season, which will make him an unrestricted free agent this offseason. That source has said. So the Lakers have no fear in losing their talent, losing the talented undrafted guard who wants to spend his entire career in purple and gold. Sources said. So with that said, 5 years, $240 million. Are you paying that for Austin Reaves?
No, sir.
Okay. And if you do that, okay, like the point you mentioned, what are you going to do? You're going to start him over Keontae? Because he's a point guard. His best.
That's kind of what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. After all the development that Keontae did over the years, are you starting him over him? What about Ace Bailey? Yes, definitely over Ace Bailey, right? But you do that, you're giving up the big advantage that Utah has over most teams in the NBA, which was length in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
You have Keontae at the 1, Ace at the 2, and then, if you do sign him and you do go with that, let's say Keontae George and Austin Reaves at the front court, right?
Yeah.
Well, then you're not re-signing Walker Kessler.
No. As
Money
far as
just doesn't
contracts, yeah, you're done.
You're into the second apron at that point.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Utah Jazz are willing to go into the second apron for Austin Reaves.
I don't think so. I don't know if
maybe if this team, on paper, possibly. I mean, maybe it's possible, but I seriously doubt that there's a chance they're going to sign both.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So, and then you can't do that because you just traded for a Triple J, and he needs to be the power forward. So who's the center?
Walker Kessler.
But you don't re-sign him because you signed
Yusuf Nurkic.
Okay, so, and again, whole story that we need to talk about that later. So that one's going to be next week. But yeah, and even
absolutely.
with that, let's say they do. Let's say they sign Kessler, Markkanen, and Reeves, and they're all in the starting lineup, right? First of all, the payroll is going to be insane. We're going to have one of the highest payrolls in the NBA, which I don't think, honestly, man, that is way too white of a starting lineup. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Okay, hear me out on this one. Okay, Utah
You
cannot.
can't say that.
Oh, absolutely, I can. Absolutely, I can.
Not traditional media.
Again, not traditional media, but that is way too wide of a lineup for Utah. Okay, fine if it's in Boston, fine if it's in LA, fine if it's in Minnesota. I don't care. You can't have majority of your starting lineup be white in Utah. You already are having a hard enough time in this market getting players to come here. If you spend a whole 2 or 3 seasons where 3/4 of your team of your starting rotation is white guys, that's not going to do well to help that.
Not to
perception.
mention $120 million a season.
Yes, exactly. So, in my opinion, not only is it, yes, it makes sense, but it's going to be a huge financial commitment. I could be sold on this one. I really could be. But again, if this team is trying to make itself relevant for long-term sustainability and you want to have free agents come to Utah, you can't have 3/4 of your starting lineup be white, dude. It's just not going to work.
That's a solid point. It's more like 60% of your starting lineup, not necessarily 75.
Okay. Forgive me. Forgive me on that one. But yeah, I'm sorry. That's just a concern of mine that if you do that, we already get cracks about it. The
everything
audience is already majority white in the arena. It's just just would not be a good look if we were trying to, bring free agents here.
Okay, fair enough. I do like Austin Reaves, though.
Oh, I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. And it also would just kind of be frustrating because why do we spend all this time tanking if we're just going to go sign the top restricted free agent anyway?
Yeah, because that's always an option for us.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Did you hear what the league is doing, by the way?
About what?
So there's a meeting that's coming on in about a week or so on the 24th of March where they're going to be talking about approving bids for 2 expansion teams in Vegas and Seattle.
I did see this.
Yeah. So franchise fees for these, if you hear the numbers.
I think it's in the neighborhood of $7 billion.
$7 billion for Seattle, $10 billion for Vegas.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars, AJ.
Billions.
And that's
with a B.
That's just the fee you have to pay to have a team.
Yeah.
Not to mention,
building a stadium and outfitting a team and payroll and
there's just a whole bunch of that. And it's just crazy. And they're gonna have to be conference realignment. There's a whole bunch of talks on this.
Especially because both teams are in the West.
Yeah, both teams would be in the West, which means another team would have to move to the East that is currently in the West. And the current prediction is it's going to be Minnesota.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah, even though New Orleans is technically farther east than Minnesota, but Minnesota's flights are like 4 hours away from 6 teams in the Northeast. So yeah, it makes better sense for it to be them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's crazy, man. Expansion in the NBA is coming. It's going to be, and again, this isn't them just talking about it. This is them agreeing on bids for those 2 teams.
Right.
And they're accepting. There's the only chance that Seattle may not get a team is because the NBA doesn't like that there's not going to be a competing bids because there's only one ownership group that wants a team in Seattle. So they're like, well, hey, Nashville, do you want a team? So they're going to start doing something like that. But yeah, man, it's coming. Seattle Supersonics will have the right. Sorry, the Seattle team will have the rights to Seattle Supersonics and all the records and everything that team had. So the early years for Durant will all go back to that team.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, similar to how Utah Mammoth got our team. If there was an expansion and Phoenix got another team, all the Phoenix Coyotes stats and everything and records would all go deferred back to them. So it's kind of interesting. We want to know what you think, folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Let's hit some of these comments for sure. We've got one from McKinley Cutler who says, no way that we get Reeves. We already have
2 max-ish guys.
Yeah, and we need to think about Kessler and Keontae's next coming contracts. Yeah, he is up for a contract extension this summer.
Keontae will be, yeah.
So unless you are willing to take discounts, which not going to happen, absolutely. Maybe Kessler, because he is up for a contract extension. He was out all year. So there might be kind of like a chance.
I think he still knows his value, though.
I don't think he's a max contract guy, though.
No, I don't think he knows his max. I don't think he's that, but I do think, I don't know. I think he's going to be chasing as much as he can get.
For sure.
Yeah.
Agreed. We also have another comment from him. He said, with getting minimum $35 million a year, wouldn't be surprised if he gets a Larry $40 million contract for sure.
Yeah.
We also have another one here, wrapping up the comments there from McKinley. I saw the Jazz are taking flyers on Tyus Jones as a veteran point guard. What do you think about that?
I could see a Tyus Jones veteran point guard backup off the bench.
Yeah, you kind of really got to give Keontae the keys to the kingdom after this season, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You got to give him the starting, unless you have somebody like a Austin Reaves or some other elite point guard coming in here that's an all-star.
Yeah.
You kind of got to let him have the keys to the kingdom at that point.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he deserves it.
Yeah, agreed. And we got also another one here from Greg Hawkins. Is Vegas even profitable anymore?
It's like a discount Macau.
Macau. Some of us haven't been to Macau. There. Greg Hawkins, I don't know.
Nope.
I can't say that I know anything about Macau.
I can also not say that.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, you're right. There's so much emptiness in there. They're talking about the level of discounts and everything that are being offered for hotels and how people just simply aren't doing the Vegas thing anymore, man. So yeah, I agree. Is Vegas profitable, and is there going to be enough local interest in a team for an expansion NBA team? It's probably just because we've talked about this previously. McKinley, you're right on with this as well. Like this league is in bed deep with the betting houses.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a huge part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the casino people happy, right?
Absolutely.
And there's like 5 different ownership groups interested in the Vegas team. Only one interested in the Seattle team. So it's interesting.
It's crazy to me that Vegas sports have taken off so much, where for years there was nobody, you weren't even allowed to play in Vegas.
No, because they didn't want to have that stigma of sports betting.
Yeah.
And again, we're seeing
now we're just all in.
Now we're just all in. The money's there, and everybody is just kind of realizing how much this is, a problem. We have a couple of more comments from McKinley before we jump subjects here. We should bring back maybe we should bring back Mike Conley, mostly as a player coach. I would love that idea, man, but from what I've seen, he's still playing well, but he's not quite.
He's slowed down a lot.
Yeah, this year hasn't been great for him.
Yeah,
I love me Mountain Mike, dude. He's the dude. But yeah, I don't think we go that direction, man. We're not bringing. This team's done with that. If we were to do that, that would be something we did a year or two ago to like mentor Keontae.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like how we brought in Joe Ingles to mentor Dante. Just have another Aussie on the team, and boy, did that change things.
Yeah, that ended up being it turned from the Dante Exum show into the Joe Ingles show. We ended up keeping Exum Joe way longer than we kept Dante.
Absolutely. As a reminder, folks, we did just launch a channel specifically for your Utah Jazz called Utah Jazz DNA. All of our Utah Jazz content will be posted here on this channel. So if you're watching this on our live stream or you're listening to our podcast after the fact, be sure to check out Utah Jazz DNA. A link to that channel will be in the description down below.
Yep.
All right, man. So what do you say we jump into one more conversation here before we let people get out of here? And let's talk a little bit about Major League Baseball.
Let's do it.
And not as a reminder, as an announcement, we did just launch a channel specifically for Major League Baseball called Major League DNA. This is a channel dedicated for all of our Major League Baseball content. Yes, we finally did it. We have a sub-channel for baseball. Link to that channel will be in the description down below. Not yet, because it's not on the card, but it will be in there going forward. So if you're watching this after the fact, a link to that will be in the description down below. So be sure to check us out. Major League Baseball, Major League DNA, all of our baseball content will be posted here. So be sure to check it out. A link to that will be in the description down below. We'll do another jersey giveaway. What do you say?
Oh, yeah.
We should do it.
Check it out.
Absolutely. New channel. Check it out, guys. All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the World Baseball Classic, shall we?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so let's first talk about how lucky, man, that the fact that the USA was even in the final game in the first place.
Oh, I mean, yeah, everything had to roll their way to get into that finals game, and it looked like they were going to give it away.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looked like they were going to give it away. They weren't playing great baseball. for a team that was as offensively supercharged as this team was supposed to be, it didn't look like it against the Dominican Republic.
No, it did not.
You shouldn't be winning any game 2-1 when you have the best hitters on the planet just riddled through your lineup.
Yes, absolutely, man. And I agree with you on that one. More to come on that here in a minute because I want to break down basically just USA basketball all together.
USA basketball too?
Yeah, let's do that too. USA baseball. AJ, what's the cardinal rule in all sports?
Don't lose.
Well, okay, that's one of them. But never let a game be decided by the officials.
Yes.
You'll hear that from every coach,
Yep.
every post game, like, "Hey, we shouldn't have left it in the hands of the officials. Never let a blown call end your tournament."
Yeah.
Just don't put yourself in that position. So there's a lot of people complaining and whining about the fact that the DR lost because of a blown call strike. Which, sure, that was a ball. Do I think the USA would have lost that game after that walk? No. You haven't really been able to string hits together against the U.S. either. There's more likely a chance that was going to be a ground out, pop out, something else like that. You did need to have something happen. Is that like zooming in and out and auto-focusing?
It looks like it.
I don't know what's going on with our camera, man. It's crazy. It just keeps doing that every time we move.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, we'll have to fix that somehow.
Click the not auto zoom button.
Is there a way to do that? Like, seriously, because that is absolutely. How long has that been going on? Yeah. Anyway, so back to the baseball there, man. When it comes to it, you never want that to be the reason your team doesn't advance is because you left it in the hands of the officials, and that's exactly what the Dominican Republic did. Did USA luck out and have the ball fall, basically the plays fall their way? Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree on that one.
Absolutely.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely. It's funny that this game came down to the point that everyone was like, "We should have had ABS." With this game, we should have had ABS. There wasn't a ton of complaints before this game, but every person that was a fan of the Dominican Republic was like, if the ABS would have happened in this game, that would have happened.
True. But there also would have been a few calls overturned because if you were really watching that game, you would see there was several times that low strike was called against the U.S. as well.
Yeah.
So, you kind of need to read the umpire, know what he's calling, what he's not calling. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one as well. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and move on over to the finals, shall we?
Yeah.
AJ, who knew? Who knew it would be easier to invade a country than it is to beat their baseball team?
I don't know if anybody knew.
Hot dang, man. Seriously.
But once again, when your only offense is a Bryce Harper, who damn near lost the last game for us.
Thanks for showing up in the tournament, by the way, for the last game, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but when your only offense is Bryce Harper hitting a 432-foot absolute bomb, but why do you got to wait till the 8th inning?
Yeah. Well, he did have 2 hits in this game. So, literally everybody outside.
He never advanced past first.
Yeah. Everybody outside Bryce Harper in this game didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I believe that the rest of the team was 1 for 24, and Bryce Harper was 2 for 4.
Yeah. There was only 3 hits for USA in this game.
Yes, 3 hits total against Venezuela. Yeah. Again, appreciate Bryce Harper. Thanks for showing up. Unlike our captain, Judge, who went 0 for 4 with 3 Ks, AJ.
That is so brutal, dude. I mean, and for being as star heavy, right? Captain Judge was supposed to be the man to help lead us to the promised land. After the last WBC, like, okay, Japan gets out. We're like, we're on the freeway to the World Baseball Classic Championship, and we couldn't make it happen. I mean, Venezuela looked tough though, man. I mean, their pitching looked good. Their hitting was clutch enough. They got some swings that fell the right way, and oh man, that was a brutal game to watch as a USA fan. I'm sure as a Venezuela fan, it was probably awesome.
I like it. We're going to talk about a little bit about this. So this kind of bridges things. Bringing Mike Conley back to the Jazz is like the Cubs brought Justin Turner in to pinch hit for lefties again for Michael Busch. Yeah, that's very much the case, and actually a very similar decision making for this USA Baseball Club, where they should have done a little bit more than that, man. Like they definitely needed to do a little bit more than they did. I definitely want to hit a few of these here. First, friend of the channel, Tammy Price. Love the Dude channel. Thank you very much, Tammy.
Thank you, Tammy.
Appreciate. Be sure to like and subscribe to the new channel for sure.
Please do that.
Check it out.
Everybody that's watching right now, please go like and subscribe.
Yes. We also have a comment here from Greg Hawkins. Aaron Judge is so unclutch. Yeah, man, I'm going to have to 100% agree with you on that one. And, yeah, what Greg says from Tammy. Love it. Love it. So
I love the next comment.
Let's see here. We have our all our world lineup shut down by like a 17-year-old
and an electrician. Both these guys are like, you used to play? You're from Venezuela? You're out.
Yeah, exactly.
you're out there.
Nice.
You can play shortstop, right? Perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. After this, we're gonna need you to work on the lights. They've been
flickering.
They've been flickering just a touch. If you could
For
just
sure.
maybe look at those
in the clubhouse for sure. Never rely on Judge when the lights are the brightest.
Truth.
Schwarber didn't do great either. Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to kind of what all that says here to me is let's go ahead and break down the U.S.'s team here, right? So overall, the story for the U.S. is that the offense just never woke up for this team.
Never.
You got the win over Mexico is 5-3 win. Win over Canada 5-3. Okay, both of those teams really weren't much of a competition for this team. You should have had a lot more runs than 5.
A lot more runs.
The 2-1 win over the Dominican, again, 2 runs. AJ, 2 runs. The Dominican Republic did have decent pitching, but you only scored 2 runs.
That's all you can muster
Against, their bullpen wasn't great, but anyway. And then you lost to Italy 6-8. So the only time you put up more than 5 runs, you lost. It's just like
maybe that was the key, dude. They needed to score less runs to win.
Yeah. I mean, my takeaways from this team, Team USA, is, Bobby Witt was amazing, by the way, in the field. Like, seriously, these games could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, Bobby Witt made some fantastic plays.
If it wasn't for Bobby Witt, this team would have been out faster than Japan was, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is also a crazy story. Japan not even making it to the semifinals. That's weird. Yeah, so Bobby Witt was amazing. DeRosa should not be a coach for this team. There was a few key things here that didn't make any sense for me. One was the fact that, okay, Will Smith was definitely the better option. He had the better tournament than Cal Raleigh. But once he went 0 for 3 in this game, once he had 3 at-bats and there wasn't anything going on and he wasn't a hot bat,
switch him out.
Why didn't you put Cal Raleigh in?
Yeah.
Big dumper, man. Give him a couple of bats. What's the worst that can happen?
Put him in as a DH. I don't care. Do anything to get the offense going.
You put him at catcher, man. Like, cause
I guess you just put him in a catcher.
Because regardless, he's a switch hitting catcher agent.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who they pitch. There's no situation where Will Smith, after the game going 0 for 3, you don't put in Kyle Raleigh. You got Alex Bregman, who you benched the night before for, plays for Baltimore. It's going to kill me. Gunnar Henderson. Henderson.
Not my strong point.
Yeah, it's okay. So you bench Bregman against the DR for I just said his name, I forgot it again. Gunnar Henderson. And then you put in Bregman in the final. And again, once he had his third at bat and the team wasn't getting anything going, why don't you switch over to Gunnar Henderson again?
Do anything.
Yeah. You did with Pico Armstrong. You put him in the outfield, right? And gave him a couple of bats. Unfortunately, he didn't do anything worth noting. Like, even though he carried, he did hit the 2 bombs for Team USA in the eventual loss to Italy. But, like, at least, they did something there. But there are so many different opportunities that you could have swapped out some players after their third at bat. Almost every player in this lineup got 5 at bats, man. And I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? Why are we not switching these players out? So for me, that's why I don't think DeRosa should be the head coach anymore. But man, it really feels like this roster, to Greg's point, was built by the front office of the Yankees.
Right.
This really felt like that. It feels like we need names, we need stars,
Yeah.
Nobody on this team isn't the man on his own team.
Right.
There's nobody on this team that's going to lay down a bunt for the guy behind him. I don't even know if Team USA even bunted at all in this tournament.
I highly doubt it.
At least not in the pool play or the knockout rounds. This was a great team. It was not a complete team. That's my opinion on Team USA.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's absolutely what it was. It was a great team, but they were not out there playing for each other at any point. It was everybody out there playing for themselves.
And I definitely think they were playing for like camaraderie, Team USA, but they all felt like they had to be the guy.
Yeah. They all wanted to be Pete Crow Armstrong. They wanted to hit the home run to put them up 2 runs and go back in and celebrate. And I don't know.
I never saw like a sac fly. I never saw really like any of that small ball, high IQ baseball type play from this team. And that all stems from the management for sure. Speaking of which, AJ, you know what we don't have to wait for?
The WBC?
We don't have to wait another 3 years for more international baseball.
Yeah.
So baseball is coming back to the Summer Olympics, which is great, right?
Absolutely.
Before we get into that, we have one more comment here from a friend of the channel, Tammy Price. USA can just mess. USA was just a mess all the way through. Catcher not fist bumping his teammates was the big story rather than the team's performance. It may have meant a lot of them. May have meant a lot of them to win, but that didn't show. Yeah, did you hear that controversy there?
Oh, that's all you saw.
Yeah, that's literally was it. Just him going up. Going up to Cal Raleigh. Oh gosh.
But did you see that he'd asked Cal before the game?
Huh.
Yeah, he told Cal before the game, "Hey, I'm gonna go get a fist bump. Is that right?" And Cal's like, "Don't do it." And he's like, "I went up to him knowing he wasn't gonna fist bump me." He's like, "It was just messing with him. I guess they're really good friends off the field." So he was totally just doing it.
Yeah, and then he told him off in 4 languages in a press conference after.
No, that was a different guy. That was because there was 2 different.
No, Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh didn't fist bump. What's his name? He was on Team Mexico. We talked about him a lot. Oh gosh, his name is escaping me. Was traded from the Marlins from the Rays to the Seattle Mariners. Oh gosh, his name is just right there. He's the one who did that whole standing and folding his arm thing.
Yeah,
that's the guy that everybody's talking about. How you go into fist bump him, and then in the press conference after the game.
Okay, that was the one. The one that he talked to him before was the guy played for Team Canada.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking like Yeah. Okay.
You know, because it was 2 different guys. Because after the first one was the guy from Mexico.
Yeah.
That he didn't fist bump. That one was all over the news. And then the other guy had already seen that and was like, "I'm going to mess with him. I'm going to go up to him." But he talked to him before the game. Was like, "I'm going to try to get a fist bump from him."
Yeah, it's crazy.
And Cal's like, "Don't do it."
Yeah, when that's more the talk versus the performance. Tammy, to your point, exactly right.
Yep.
But yeah, it's gonna kill me that I can't remember the guy's name. Anyway. But yeah, so speaking of which, again, we're not going to have to wait 3 years. It's going to have to be 2 years because baseball is going to be back in the Summer Olympic Games starting in 2028. Do you know where these games are taking place, AJ?
I believe that's going to be Los Angeles, California.
So that means where are those games going to be played?
In the United States of America.
In California. So where are the games going to be played?
Dodger Stadium?
That's right, buddy. Dodger Stadium.
I wasn't sure about that, but
Olympic Games played
Great
at Dodger
guess.
Stadium. Way to go, AJ.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Wanted this to be a Dodger channel, and you couldn't even put that together, but that's okay.
I was like, California.
Yeah. So again, this is just one more year before the next WBC,
Yeah.
right? So we're gonna have Olympic baseball in LA, and it's gonna be played at Dodger Stadium. Gonna be awesome. So with that said, AJ, we're going to have baseball, and it's going to be, since baseball has been on an upswing for like the last 3 or 4 years because of the last WBC and this one, and with the greatest World Series that we've seen in a long time with the Blue Jays. And then the year before that, Dodgers, Yankees, that was also the highest rated World Series before this World Series of 2025.
Yeah.
Baseball is on the upswing, man.
It is.
I'd actually love to see it. Will the upcoming Olympics, though, hurt the WBC's interest in that tournament going forward?
So I think if it was going to hurt it, it probably would have hurt it this year. With because the WBC is used as one of the qualifying events for the Olympics.
Okay.
It's one of 3 qualifying events for the Olympics. So you have to finish top 2 in WBC, Premier 12, and there's another qualifying tournament that you have to finish to qualify for the Olympics. The USA, because the US is the host nation, the USA automatically gets a bid to the Olympics this year. So players didn't so much have to worry about not being qualified for the Olympics or having to go to another international tournament, which usually these international tournaments are limited to amateurs, minor leaguers. That's who usually plays in these tournaments for the USA. It's usually not Major League Baseball players going to,
right.
Since before last year, that was who you saw was minor leaguers. So it's really interesting to see if, knowing the Olympics are coming, and there's a lot of teams, there's a lot of guys that have already said they want to play on the Olympic team.
Mm-hmm.
Great honor. You want to go win gold for the country. That's getting an Olympic gold medal is something that baseball players haven't got to do for a long time, because I believe they stopped doing the baseball as an Olympic sport in 2008.
2020 was the last one.
Oh, 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
So 2020. So they took it out for 20.
It was played in 2021 though, but it was the 2020 Summer Olympics. Because of COVID, they couldn't play it that year, so it was in 2021. It was in Tokyo.
Okay. But yeah, so I mean, USA's got to see. I mean, they're going to qualify, so that's good. They'll be in it.
They also finished top 2, by the way, so they did qualify for that anyway.
They double qualified. Yeah.
Even though they didn't technically deserve
host country and qualified.
Yeah.
So, but I think moving forward, when the Olympics are not going to be here, that's when it'll be interesting to see, because at that point, when the next Summer Olympics, and I'm not sure where those are at, they're going to have to finish top 2 in one of these tournaments to be qualified for the Olympics. So hopefully it doesn't kill the WBC. I mean, I think it's still going to be the biggest tournament. Like I've never heard of the Premier 12.
No, me neither. I think, yeah, I'm kind of right there with you there. There's a few things that I kind of wanted to bring up on that. First is going to be, good point on the qualifying on that. But if you look to other sports like soccer and basketball, does FIBA not have any interest because of the Olympics, the Summer Olympics? Like, do people not want to watch Team USA in the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean,
because of FIBA, or does people not watch FIBA
exactly.
because of the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, no. The answer is absolutely not.
Yeah, I think the only time this is going to have an impact is going to be domestically in the U.S. I think the only reason why people wouldn't be interested in the WBC is because, just like Bryce Hopper's comment, well, this isn't the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
But for the longest time, this was the only time that baseball had an international tournament that people could compete in, and for all eyes to be on this game. And I think that last 2 terms they've done very well, which is why there's interest in bringing it back in 2028. But again, I just think that there's a chance that there's the only impact is going to be domestically, because of the fact that we care about the Olympics, we care about winning gold, we can we care about the USA when it comes to the Olympics, may not necessarily in this context, but I also think that baseball fans don't like the exhibition tournaments and may see a little bit more legitimacy in the Olympics. But I would think overall, internationally, when it comes to baseball, there's going to be no impact.
Right. It's just the sport has grown so much and evolved so much. And for the record, 2032, the Summer Olympics are going to be held in Brisbane, Australia.
That'd be crazy.
I want to go. I've just always wanted to go to Australia. What better reason to watch Olympic baseball?
Like and subscribe to the Major League DNA, folks, and we will do some live coverage there in Australia.
Yeah, we're going to need you guys to do a lot of subscribing and a lot of watch hour watching.
Hey, it's all free content for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you a dime. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I think it's super awesome that the baseball's going to be back in the Olympics. I also think it's not necessarily going to affect the WBC. We may see some interest lag in here locally, but I think if they do something like player-wise, if you want to be on the Olympic team, you need to be on the WBC. Yeah, I think you have to. You either have to commit to the WBC either the year after or the year before. I think, in my opinion, I think that would be a requirement. By the way, side note, before we get out of here, do you know the last time the United States won an Olympic gold medal in baseball?
I might have this in my notes. No.
Okay. It was in the year 2000. It was the Sydney Games, Australia.
Oh, we're coming back.
We're coming back, baby.
Well, we should win it in 2028. Okay. That's when we need to win it.
Do you know who is managing that team?
I don't.
Tommy Lasorda.
You mean an actual baseball manager?
Yes, who was the manager of
the Dodgers.
Yes, exactly. So Tommy Lasorda, manager of the Dodgers, beats heavily favored Cuba 4-0 in that game where the pitcher pitched a shutout. And then he campaigned hard for the team to get a parade when they came back home. And sure enough, we gave that team a parade when they came back home.
Damn right.
Which is super awesome. Rest in peace there, Tommy Lasorda, up there with Vin Scully, watching these teams win World Series back-to-back. It's got to be a lot of fun up there. But yeah, I just think that's funny. The next time that baseball is being played in the Olympics is going to be when they're played at Dodger Stadium. The last time the Team USA won gold was when the Dodgers manager was managing the team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A little fun factoid there for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We also have another comment here from channel legend Greg Hawkins. We have baseball rocks. That's all.
You nailed it, Greg.
You did. As a reminder, folks, we did just launch a channel specifically for Major League Baseball called Major League DNA. This is our channel dedicated to all of our baseball topics that we discuss will be posted on this channel. So if you have not yet, check it out in the channel. Check it out in the description down below. Not this week, but going forward, it will be in the description down below. I actually think I forgot to attach all the channels in the description down below for the live stream.
It's fine. You know where to find us.
It'll be there. Link to Major League Baseball will be in the description down below going forward, so be sure to check it out. We'll be giving away another jersey when this channel is monetized, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, so be sure to check us out there. Long time coming, man. We talk a lot of baseball on the channel, and we kind of want to just be able to allocate that a little bit better. So
absolutely, and we talk a wide spectrum of baseball. We hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you like, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube on any of our short videos and you see this one clip, make sure you know this whole thing is available as a podcast wherever you get your audio.
Absolutely. So as a reminder, folks, this was an episode of the DNA Sports Recap. If you're watching this on our channel, if you're watching this on our main channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We are still trying to give away that first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue on this channel. So if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell. Again, we're giving 5 subscribers each $100. Once we hit that number of $500, we're going to be giving that away. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the giveaway.
Yep.
With all that said, my name is Darren. That is AJ. And this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.